Jaylen Daniels and the Commanders continue their Cinderella run in the NFC playoffs. They torched the Lions Saturday night, and they are advancing to the NFC Championship against their division rival Philadelphia Eagles, who did just enough to get past the LA Rams. Jay, this is a rubber match between these two teams. Set the scene for us.
First of all, who would have thought the Washington Commanders would be one game away from going to the Super Bowl before the season started?
Nobody.
They had the number 2 pick in the draft. They had holes all over the place. There's no way this is happening, but it is. It is a rubber match against the Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously, the Eagles got them the first time. They held Jaylen pretty low yardage-wise and rushing yards. Second game, Washington had 5 turnovers and still won the football game. Jaylen kind of went off at the end, threw 5 touchdown passes. Saquon Barkley had 2 big games in both games. Obviously, the second game, Hurts got hurt in the first quarter. Pickett came in, didn't fare too well. This is going to be a hell of a game. It really is. You can't put anything past Washington anymore. The doubt has got to be erased from your mind. The game will not be too big for Jaylen Daniels. He's proven that time and time again. The defense will give up some plays, but they're opportunistic. They make some plays as well. Philadelphia's defense has been outstanding all year long. Vic Fangio's done a great job. The line we know about. Secondary solid. Quinyon Mitchell's questionable, but I think he'll be okay. Overall, top to bottom, both teams are well coached. Quarterback plays solid. Turnovers, they don't turn the ball over. It's going to be a hell of a football game to watch, but I wouldn't put anything past the Washington Commanders at this point.
AQ, we're always talking about the Chiefs and how they do whatever it takes to win a game. They always seem to come through at the end. This Eagles team, whether it's the defense, the offense, special teams, they also seem to have that it factor where they can always pull it out. Is that the true mark of a championship team?
I think to a certain extent, yes, but I think it also, they always have the lead whenever they find ways to eke it out at the end. For the most part, this past week they did not, but a lot of times they can just lean on that O-line and obviously Saquon Barkley. And obviously when you have those two units, right, the running back unit, obviously with the offensive line unit, it's easy to close games out for them. But I think, listen, they did everything they could to lose this game, right? They got 2 touchdown lead with 4 minutes to go. And I said it as soon as they scored. I was like, Stafford's going to take it down. They're going to get a stop. He's going to have a chance after your boy Jake Elliott makes the miss on the extra point. And they had a chance to go down and just literally score a touchdown, kick the extra point. This Eagles team is as good as Jalen Hurts is going to take them, right? Like, he made enough plays this past week. He was hurt. We'll see where he's at there. But listen, at the end of the day, it comes down to Saquon and that offensive line.
No, it definitely comes down to Saquon and that offensive line. And obviously, AQ is alluding to me being nervous about Jake Elliott missing all those extra points and field goals. They made it happen. But the other guy on the other side of the ball, the Commanders, Jaylen Daniels, have we ever seen a better quarterback performance at all in the playoffs this year? Is Jaylen Daniels the best quarterback in the playoffs right now?
When you talk about recent performance, yeah, dude, he's playing lights out. He's unbelievable. You also got to remember, you still got Allen, you still got Mahomes. These guys have proven experience and history in the playoffs. You can't elevate Jaylen Daniels above these guys, but you can look at the last 2 games and you can say, this guy's playing just as good as anybody. There's no doubt about it. I mean, what he's done on the road 2 weeks in a row is nothing short of phenomenal. Jaylen Daniels is running the ball just enough on the zone read. He keeps defenses on their toes every single snap because he can create, he can move. He's just a threat every single snap. The reason why they've won 2 games in a row is he hadn't turned the ball over. They went to Detroit and put up 45 points. You kidding me? That's hard for any quarterback, much less a rookie. They may go all the way. Who knows? They're playing with a lot of mojo. Everybody's on the same page. If you look at recent performance, if you look at the first 2 games of the playoffs, he's won. Nobody's played better than him. Am I going to be foolish enough to put him above like Josh Allen and Mahomes? I mean, Mahomes is going for his 3rd straight Super Bowl. Like, let's not get crazy. But based on how they've played, he's played the best in the playoffs so far, no question.
Jay, best rookie quarterback season of all time?
Well, last year, C.J. Stroud went to the playoffs and won a playoff game. He did pretty good. I thought that was quite incredible. Now, Jaylen Daniels for sure has surpassed that. What he did last week, Aaron Glenn tried to blitz the hell out of him, and he did not blink. He had free runners in his face. He throws a ball down the sidelines. He has a free runner. He outruns him for a gain of 15. Another free runner. He throws it to Zach Ertz for a 12-yard out route. You can't blitz him. You can't play zone. I don't know what you're doing right now if you're defense going against Jaylen Daniels. He's beating everything right now, and it's unheard of. So, yeah, he's playing as good as any quarterback in the National Football League right now to this date. History, obviously Mahomes, Allen have proven to be a lot better with time. But right now, at this time, at this moment, going to the playoffs, he is playing the best football of all the quarterbacks.
Now, playing as the best running back right now is Saquon Barkley, Jay. He is third all time between regular season and playoffs for rushing. Is there any way for the Commanders to slow him down?
Yeah, there's a way. It's going to be hard. You just got to eliminate the 70-yard pop. You know what I mean? You got to take good angles. Make sure your safeties are always involved and make sure they take good angles. If he does pop it loose, make sure somebody is getting off a block at corner. Limit to 10 to 12-yard games. We can't have the 67-yard pops. That's where he gets all his yards. But yeah, we got to get Chin down there and play some cover three, some man-to-man, whatever it might be to get extra man in the box, maybe some fire zones and try to be disruptive. But, everybody tries it. Everybody's tried the same thing. I think if you hold Saquon to like 140 or less, I think it's a good day.
140 or less. We are, AQ. That dude is a stud, Saquon, huh?
We just got to hold him to 140 or less.
The 210s and the 250s. That's like, you're done.
Dude, you see him banging his helmet, running down the sideline. You know it's not going to be a good day. That dude is a freak.
You're high-fiving at halftime. If he's only got like 75 yards at the half, you're high-fiving. Good job, D. Let's go.
Oh, yeah, we stopped him.
All right, we only have 2 rounds left in the NFL season. Every week we are trying to grow this channel. We asked for 15,000. You got us to 16,000. The goal has always been 20,000 by the end of the playoffs. Keep rocking with us. Drop the likes, drop the comments. Where do you rank Jayden Daniels as the quarterbacks of this playoff so far? 1 through 4. Put Jalen Hurts at 4. I mean, don't listen, Philadelphia Eagles fans. What is the biggest advantage the Eagles have over the Commanders? I know you're not about to say quarterback. So what is the Eagles' biggest advantage and how do they use that to win this game?
I'm calling them the Stoutland Eagles. It's not the Philadelphia Eagles. This offensive line for the Philadelphia Eagles can take over a game. Yeah, Saquon Barkley's having a phenomenal season, best year of his career, best year of any running back we've seen in a long time. Why? You can line him up at X receiver and he'll be a top 10 receiver in the NFL.
Whoa.
He's really, really good. I promise you, I've seen it with my own 2 eyeballs. The offensive line for the Philadelphia Eagles dominates. They can control the clock. They help Jalen Hurts a ton. They help Saquon. Their run game, their counters, they're just inside zone if they want to versus a 4-man front. They just lean on everybody. They're great in pass protection. They are the reason why the Eagles are where they are. And to me, this matchup against the Washington Commanders and that front is going to be one to watch. If the Eagles are dominating the line of scrimmage, which they've done to pretty much everybody, that's the Eagles' advantage. Lean on that. Lean on Saquon Barkley. Jalen Hurts is always going to beat you with his legs. He's going to have opportunities to do that. But really controlling the clock in a playoff game and being able to run the football and have Saquon Barkley back there, it starts up front. The Stoutland Eagles.
Jordan Mailata, the left tackle from the Eagles, always says Stoutland University when he does his pregame intro, which I find pretty cool. He's a great man. AQ, we've talked about rivalries on this show. We had the Ravens Steelers early on in the playoffs and how dynamic that rivalry is and how intense that rivalry is. The Eagles are playing the Commanders for a trip to the Super Bowl. How intense are this fan base going to be in this game? Are there going to be fights in the parking lot? Are the Commanders fans going to show up? What do you got here?
I think the coolest thing about rivalries is how much each team knows about the other team, right? Like you've seen them twice during the regular season. Obviously, it's a new coaching staff in Washington this year, but the history is still there. It's still the Commanders versus the Eagles. And the fact there's going to be something that gets one of these teams to the Super Bowl, and they're going to have to play different games than they have, right? Like you can't run the same stuff you ran in week 1. You can't run the same. Everybody knows. So you're going to have to bring your best stuff. And I think the first 15, obviously both teams are going to have their stuff. First 15 is going to be great. It's going to be what happens after you get punched in the mouth. It's going to be what happens after you get off script. It's going to be if Cliff can continue to stay fearless and aggressive. It's going to be on the other side. Can Kellen Moore continue to get the most out of Jalen Hurts? He hasn't yet. He's going to need more out of him in this game. And whenever the stakes are the highest to get to the Super Bowl, you need the best from each of their top players, right? So their quarterbacks are going to have to be on. Now it's time. Now the bright lights are on. It's to get to the show. It's going to be fun to watch, but this game is going to come down to 1 or 2 plays. It's going to come down to the last series of the game, maybe. It might come down to a missed extra point. We'll see what happens.
Jake Elliott lives, man. He's getting by. Jay, when you play a team in your division twice in a year and you know what each other likes to run, do you try to get cute and try to mix up and change your whole defense, or do you go back to what you do well? How does that typically work out?
you got to make sure you know who's in the game. Obviously, at right guard, we have a new right guard at Trent Scott for Washington. We got to make sure we cater to his strengths. In Philadelphia, they have a new middle linebacker, Orion Burks, taking over Nakobe Dean. That's a big difference, in my opinion. Is Quinyon Mitchell going to play, or is it going to be Isaiah Rodgers? So you got to make sure you know who's in the game. You have to cater to your players, and then you have to go about your business and how to attack that defense and what's best for your offense going in, and vice versa. So Washington's not going to vary from what they do. Jayden Daniels, they're going to attack down the field with their 3-level throws. They're going to hit the ball with the inside zones, the pullers, and the bubble screens off of it if you load up the box. The play to Terry McLaurin for 70 yards was supposed to be a double counter to the right. They brought the weak side linebacker off the edge or safety, and he pulled it out through a bubble screen to Terry for 70 or 55, whatever it was. Washington has answers for what the defense does. So if Vic Fangio wants to try to surprise them, Washington will have that answer, and vice versa. I'm sure Jalen Hurts will have that same answer. If Washington tries to load up the box with safety blitzes and stuff, they'll get the ball to A.J. Brown or Goddard in a flat. So it's going to be a chess match. But at the end of the day, it's going to be about quarterback play, in my opinion. Which quarterback can light it up? Which quarterback can make the plays on 3rd and 4th down? You know what's funny? I just thought about my head. My head goes crazy sometimes. Last year at this time, Dan Quinn just gave up 600 yards of offense to Green Bay. And he's sitting in his office wondering if he's going to be back as defensive coordinator for the Cowboys. Interviews with the Washington Commanders because Ben Johnson doesn't want the job. Gets the job. They get Cliff Kingsbury. They draft Jayden Daniels, and he's one game away from going to the Super Bowl. It's an incredible story. I just can't get over it. You got to pull for Washington in that regard, really. I mean, it's Coach Quinn's a great guy, and they have good people on that staff. And obviously, Jayden Daniels' story is unbelievable. This is going to be one hell of a game, but it's going to be clutch situations, 3rd and 4th down, red zone, turnovers. You know it, Justin. It always is, always will be.
I love it. Hey, if Cliff ends up getting a job elsewhere, we know who's going to be on the short list to be OC interview.
Don't go, Cliff. Don't go. Stay where you're at. Stay with the good players, man. Stay. Trust me.
Jay, you've mentioned some names here. Cole, I'm going to start with you on this. Give me a player that's going to impact this game. It's going to be the player of the game that is not named Jayden Daniels or Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, listen, it's an easy one for me. Watching the game last week, Rams have all the momentum. They drive down the field. It's 3rd down. And where ends up in the backfield sacking Matthew Stafford and just ruining their dreams? Jalen Carter. If you don't double team this guy, your night's over. You can't block him one-on-one. That's what I like about him. He'll wreck a game, but he's a closer in the big situations, big moments. Like, he ended that game for the Eagles. And so to me, what can Washington do? Losing Sam Cosmi, new guard. Like, what's the plan for Jalen Carter? Everybody else on their defense is good players, but he's a great player. You gotta have a plan for him in place, because if you don't, he'll wreck the game. That's the one guy on this Philadelphia Eagles that, to me, is a guy who can just completely control a game up front, run game, pass game, have a plan for him. Now Jayden is more creative. He can move. Stafford couldn't get away from it. But, like, that guy's a problem. Commanders have to have an answer for him.
It also doesn't help when the LA Rams both don't put a hand on him the last 2 plays of the game. But that is 100% a game wrecker, and he won that game for the Eagles. AQ, who do you have?
The guy that I'm going to talk about is, listen, Terry McLaurin's been fantastic, right? Terry McLaurin's been fantastic. De'Ami Brown. That's the only reason I've heard about him is because St. Brown's talked about how he was drafted ahead of him. Well, he hasn't done much. This guy has become a guy, and they're going to need him to continue to be a guy in this matchup. And if he is, Commanders
plays of the game, but that is 100% a game wrecker, and he won that game for the Eagles. AQ, who do you have?
The guy that I'm going to talk about is, listen, Terry McLaurin's been fantastic, right? Terry McLaurin's been fantastic. De'Ami Brown. That's the only reason I've heard about him is because St. Brown's talked about how he was drafted ahead of him. Well, he hasn't done much. This guy has become a guy, and they're going to need him to continue to be a guy in this matchup. And if he is, Commanders got a great chance at winning this. They got a great chance.
Jay, who do you got? Who's your dynamic playmaker that's going to make an impact that we're not talking about?
Well, first of all, Washington, the beauty of Washington's offense, they go any which way, man. They go De'Ami Brown, they go McLaurin, they go Jamison Crowder had a couple catches against Philadelphia, had 2 touchdowns. They go OZ, they go Zach Ertz, they go Brian Robinson, they go Austin Eckler. They don't care. Jayden Daniels does not discriminate. He's going to get to the ball, the open guy. He's not going to be one-dimensional, throw it to this guy or run it. He's going to just spread it around. So I can't pick one on Washington. All of them are going to produce.
They're all going to ball. All right, Jay.
On defense, I'm going to say Frankie Louvu because he can rush and he can play in coverage. He's got to be all over the place to try to stop the run and be in coverage and also rush the passer. He's been making big plays throughout the course of the year. Early on, he struggled a little bit, but he started to get his feet underneath him, and Bobby Wagner next to him has helped out tremendously. His production will be key in this football game on Sunday afternoon at 3:00.
I can agree. Those are all great names. I'm going to name a player that's been a star in this league for a while, and he's disappeared a little bit in these playoffs. He's busy reading inner excellence. I'm going A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown, I need you to be the leader and one of the leaders of this team. There's always something going on with A.J. where it's like there's creating controversy outside of football. I want him to show up. I want him to be that alpha receiver. I want him to go up and get those balls at the goal line, not bobble them, not drop them. He had a big slant that he caught for a conversion later in the game. A.J. Brown, I know you're not getting the ball as much as you would like. You have a chance to win the Super Bowl. Swallow all that pride. Go out there and ball out because the Philadelphia Eagles have all the pieces. This episode of Clean Pocket is sponsored by BetterHelp. Every week, we're trying to bring you the best version of ourselves on this show and bring you the top football content on YouTube. There's no reason why you shouldn't be the best version of yourself every week. With BetterHelp, you can do just that. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it's 100% online. You can access their network of 30,000 credentialed therapists online in just minutes. Write your story with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/pocket today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/pocket. Now let's get back to the video. So those are some players that we're talking about. Now let's go around and do our picks. I got to give a quick shout out to where we all stand in the rankings. Colt McCoy made one up on me last week. So me and Colt are both tied at 29 and 15. Jay is slowly just driving off the side of a cliff. He's 27 and 17 there in third. AQ's gaining on Jay. He's 3 games back, 24 and 20.
I didn't know this went in the playoffs. I thought it ended. I already won, I thought. This is just
you didn't.
bonus stuff. I was just messing around in the playoffs.
There's only 4 games left. Should we make this a ×2 week?
Who has the hammer? AQ?
AQ, do you want to double down this week? Every game is worth 2?
Sure.
That's not a hammer, by the way. This is a hammer.
He dropped the mic.
Have you watched the TGL, Jay?
I watched for 1 minute, and I couldn't stand watching a guy hit the ball into a screen.
If you notice, Tiger Woods has a towel, and he drops the towel. There's no actual hammer.
We're
Jay,
already referred to that league. Nice.
All right.
All right. So we're going to go 2 times the points on this week. It's the NFC AFC championship weekend. We're doubling the points up. With that being said, Colt McCoy, the floor is yours. Who do you have in this one?
I have the Washington Commanders, boys. I think they are going to go into Philly, one of the toughest places in the world to play, with the Super Bowl on the line. I like this Commanders football team. I bet against them last week, and I shouldn't have. And I think Jaden Daniels is playing great. I think Cliff is my boy. He's calling great games on offense. I think they're going to do enough on defense to just stack the box. I can't bet against the mojo. I can't bet against the confidence. And I just have a gut feeling that they're going to go into Lincoln Financial Field and find a way to win. These two teams know each other well. Same division. I want this little Cinderella story to continue. This is an emotional pick, but I'm going with the Washington Commanders.
AQ, are you going to use your head on this one, or are you going to also go with your heart?
I'm going to go with my head. I think there's a very good chance that Washington can. I just think that Philly has been there before with a lot of these guys. A lot of these guys were on that team a couple years ago that went there, and I think they can lean on that experience from Elaine Johnson, Dickerson, and some of these guys that have been there before. Jalen Hurts, obviously, right? And, second time around, I just think I think they're going to have just enough. I think they're going to have just enough to get there.
Yeah, this is insane to even be thinking about taking Washington to go to the Super Bowl. I just still in shock right now. It's insane. I can't take Philadelphia. They got too much going on. They got the guys read books. I just don't like it. I don't like the fact that I don't feel like they're all together. I feel like Washington is all together going in the same direction. I feel like even if things go poorly early in a football game, I think they can still dig themselves out of a hole. They've done it 6 times. They just continue to prove people wrong. And this quarterback is a special dude. And I think he's going to continue his run, shock the world, And it's going to be the Washington Commanders versus the next team we're going to talk about next. It's going to be insane. So it wouldn't surprise me it went the other way. It really would. It's going to be a great game. It always is when Washington plays Philadelphia. They're always close. It's always a bloodbath. It's going to come down to special situational football like it always does, and penalties. But I think Washington has the makings to get it done. Payne is back. Allen's back. I mean, we got defensive front. We got two big guys in the middle, too, on the front, like Carter, like they do at Philadelphia. So just take the Commanders and shock the world again. Unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable. I can't believe we're talking about it.
Man, that is crazy to say. I think it really all comes down to Jalen Hurts' knee. If Jalen's healthy and he can move, it obviously is going to greatly impact the game one way or another. The Eagles are the most talented team. I got friends on both sides of the ball. Obviously, Zach Ertz, friend of the program. Love Cliff. Bobby Johnson, my old offensive line coach, is there in Washington. My heart wants to ride with the boys and the Commanders, but my head tells me the Eagles in that environment, that's not a 3-point environment. Typically, you go on the road, it's a 3-point swing. When you go to Philadelphia, it's like a 4-point swing. It's a 5-point swing. That place is crazy to play in. I hope the Commanders win. I do hope the Commanders win, but for the sake of the competition, it's the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles have so much talent. They can ride the defense. They can play great on special teams. They started the postseason off with that kickoff return fumble they took and just kind of crushed the Packers' hopes from the get-go. I'm going Eagles.
Defense isn't that good right now, man. I'm telling you. Orion Burks is not a very good linebacker. He's not a very good linebacker. If Quinyon Mitchell doesn't play, Isaiah Rodgers stinks.
I hope all those things happen, Jay. I really do. The Eagles, I'm a Giants guy. I really want the Eagles to lose, but they're so talented on the offensive line. Saquon's on another level. I hope for Saquon's sake.
You hope to 18 things in that speech.
You name every player on the Commanders.